13 News at 5 begins with breaking news tonight.
In just the last 2 hours, we learned an 18-year-old high school student at Mooresville is now facing charges accused of planning a Valentine's Day mass shooting at school on campus. We have live team coverage for you tonight of this developing story at this hour. Our Logan Gay just had a conversation with Mooresville police.
So we're going to hear from her, but let's start with Samantha Johnson at Mooresville High School, where she's been working to learn more about this case over the last hour. Sam?
Well, I can tell you, we talked to students, even families, as they were leaving the high school this afternoon. They tell us they were disturbed by what they heard. Some folks even telling us they were considering not coming to school tomorrow, too. As we mentioned, this all started earlier this week, February 11th, when the FBI contacted local authorities saying they had received a tip from a tipster saying their friend was planning a mass school shooting here at Mooresville High School, planned it for Valentine's Day. Local authorities and police were able to work together to track down an 18-year-old suspect, Trinity Shockley. They say they went to her home, which is close to the high school, served a search warrant, and found several things, including a few AR magazines, a box of .40 caliber rounds, also a soft armored vest inside that home. Police also detailed in new documents messages that were allegedly sent between that student and some colleagues and friends on social media, some of them including, "I have been planning this for a year." Disturbing details, and we can tell you tonight that 18-year-old is in the Morgan County Jail without bond, charged initially with conspiracy to commit murder and 2 counts of intimidation. All of this information coming down just this afternoon. Our Logan Gay spent time with the local police here in Mooresville. So ladies, we know that obviously we're continuing to learn more from Mooresville police as this investigation continues.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that update on this breaking news. That's Samantha Johnson reporting from Mooresville High School. We also have Logan Gay, who is gathering information from police, and she will continue our team coverage throughout the next hour. In the meantime, we've reported on the very suspect that is charged in planning the school shooting before. It was back in 2022. That's when we told you that a suspected drunk driver hit Shockley while getting on a school bus at the age of 15.
Now, court documents. In these documents, police say that Shockley told them about being bullied after the crash and even threatened for 2 years. So we're on top of this. As we have told you, we have team coverage working the scene and trying to figure out a little bit more about what happened. And over the next 90 minutes, we're going to bring you more information, as well as tonight on 13 News at 11.
That's right. And the charging documents are very detailed. And if you would like to read about the charges and what the court documents detail about this case right now, it's just too much for us to cover in one newscast. You can go to our website right now at WTHR.com. That will provide more insight and context of what police say led to the charges today against a student at Mooresville High School.
Our other big story tonight, Indiana's Attorney General Todd Rokita is warning both IMPD and IPS of legal action.
In fact, he even sent a letter to Metro Police and the school district, and in that letter he says he wants them to cooperate with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Karen Campbell joins us now live in studio to fill us in. And when we're talking about cooperation, Karen, what exactly is Rokita talking about?
Well, since we're talking about 2 different organizations, we have IMPD, we have IPS. Cooperation works a little differently for both. So I want to start with IMPD. According to Rokita, since Indiana is not considered a sanctuary city, local law enforcement is required by law to offer help to the, quote, fullest extent that federal law allows. If they don't, they would be in violation of civil law and go to court. IMPD has said their #1 priority is reducing crime and violence, and they work with federal partners every day. And they have not been asked to participate in any sweeps, and they don't intend to. So Rokita, he also said it doesn't matter if the person is a criminal or is just here illegally. Take a listen to this.
If there's an apprehension made, if there's a stop made, and in that situation, it's found out that this person is an illegal alien, and ICE has asked, if that's the case, I'm not sure, but if ICE has asked for that kind of cooperation to say, let us know if you pick up someone who is an illegal alien, then local law enforcement has to tell them.
If you recall, about 3 weeks ago, FOB President Rick Snyder came out saying officers wouldn't be enforcing federal laws, but would still cooperate with ICE.
Any regular prescribed information sharing between levels of enforcement will still continue.
So now, regarding IPS, Rokita says school officials would allow ICE on school grounds to conduct a search and seizure, and that doesn't require a warrant under the Fourth Amendment. IPS tells 13 News that they are working on a response. Now, IPS and IMPD, they must respond to Rokita's letter by February 27th. In that response, they have to list the changes that they have made to their immigration policy. So, of course, this is something that we will definitely continue to follow as we await what IPS has to say about all of this.
All right, Karen Campbell, thanks so much for your coverage on this. And you might remember the Attorney General did file a lawsuit against a police department that's in the northern part of Indiana over similar complaints.
And we first told you about it right here on 13 News at 5 about 3 weeks ago. AG's lawsuit against the St. Joseph County Police Department accused the agency of not complying with Indiana law over what police were not doing when it came to immigration. However, our NBC affiliate in South Bend got a statement from the department refuting the claims. The Attorney General's office has filed similar lawsuits against other counties across the state, including the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And we want to get back to that breaking news that we just brought you a few minutes ago. A Mooresville High School student is facing charges accused of planning a Valentine's Day mass shooting at school.
So we're on the eve of what that plan was to be executed. Reportedly, Logan Gay spoke to the police in Mooresville within the last hour and a half. She joins us now with what they're saying about this case.
I just wrapped up an interview with the police chief here in Mooresville, and he told me this investigation started after the FBI received an anonymous tip from a person that says their friend was planning a mass shooting at the Mooresville High School. After an investigation, they pinpointed that person of interest as being 18-year-old Trinity Shockley. Now, the police chief says that during the investigation, they visited Trinity's home, and they said that they found photos of other mass shooters in her room and even on her backpack. They said that that tipster said that Trinity had an AR-15 and even had bulletproof vest. Now, the police chief says that this is just shocking for everyone involved in this town because he says Trinity was a familiar face here at the police station and would even drop off cookies and pictures. He says that this is a big deal.
And to think, nothing ever happens in Mooresville, it's a small town, but to think that somebody was plotting to hurt a lot of individuals, kids, future leaders of this country or whoever, is pretty disturbing.
We're still working to find out what motivated Trinity to plan this mass shooting, and once we get that information, we'll update you as soon as possible. Also, the police chief says that they have at least 5 police officers at Mooresville High School and don't believe that there is any danger to the public. In Mooresville, Logan Gay, 13 News.
Logan, thank you so much. And right now, lawmakers are working on a new 2-year budget, and Republicans want to cut spending on Medicaid.
And they have a bill to do just that, making its way through the Indiana State House. Our State House reporter, Emily Longnecker, is here to tell us about that bill and also some recent changes to it. Emily.
Well, after addressing property taxes, this was the next priority on the Senate Republican agenda. Senate Bill 2 addresses Medicaid spending. Republican lawmakers say the growth of Medicaid is unsustainable and believe this bill will fix that.
SB 2 would cap the number of Hoosiers who receive Medicaid through the state's Healthy Indiana plan. When HIP began in 2008, Senate Appropriations Chairman Republican Senator Ryan Mishler says only 40,000 Hoosiers were on it. Today, that number is more than 700,000. Senate Bill 2 would cap the number of Hoosiers who could be on HIP at 500,000. The amended bill also puts restrictions on advertising for Medicaid services, like the ones through HIP. Critics of that proposal say it would keep Hoosiers in the dark about what kind of help is out there for them. The original bill called for there to be a 36-month limit on how long someone could be on HIP. That's been taken out. A 20-hour-a-week work requirement remains, with some exceptions for pregnant women. There's also a grace period giving people who just got out of prison time to find a job. Democratic lawmakers have called for fully funding Medicaid, saying that putting caps on the number of Hoosiers who can be on HIP would have a devastating and chilling effect on the state's most vulnerable Hoosiers. Republicans on the Senate's Appropriations Committee have a different take.
I don't look at this bill as cutting services. I look at this bill as preserving services for those most vulnerable and making sure that we are able to continue funding those services. And so that is the point of this.
Senate Bill 2 passed out of the Appropriations Committee along party lines. Now, coming up tonight at 6, we'll hear from one woman who says her clients are the state's most vulnerable, and she worries that this bill will impact them. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Thanks, Emily. And a road on the near south side of Indianapolis is back open tonight after a deadly crash involving a person on a bicycle. This happened around 7:15 this morning near East Raymond and Shelby Streets. Officers say that's where they found a man in the streets with traumatic injuries. The driver of the car, who police say hit the man, stayed at the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. The fatal crash team is now trying to figure out what caused this incident.
Skies are clearing, temperatures are dropping. We're in the teens and 20s. Yes, already down into the teens. It's 18 Bunker Hill, 24 Indianapolis and Noblesville, currently 27 in Greensburg. Nice to see the blue sky over Crawfordsville, and we currently have 22 degrees. Wind chills in the single digits. It feels like 4 in Lafayette, 3 in Kokomo, feeling like 9 in Muncie. Actual air temperatures will drop into the single digits, especially in those areas that picked up a little bit of snow, mainly north of Indianapolis tonight. Evening forecast, teens and 20s. The skies continue to clear. Kids will need the heavy coat at the bus stop on Friday. Morning temperatures between 5 and 15 degrees. We do warm up just a bit. Morning sunshine will give way to increasing clouds tomorrow afternoon. Highs in the mid-30s.
And with that cold weather moving in tonight, Angela was talking about, and the possibility of a little snow in the forecast as we head into the weekend, you want to get the Live Doppler 13 weather app on your phone. It is a free download, and once you get it, you can check out the weather blog and see a specific forecast for your area.
I had no symptoms at all, like none.
So given that, imagine his surprise learning that he had a massive widowmaker blockage in his heart. The test he credits for saving his life and where you can go and get scanned too. It's ahead in Checkup 13.
Plus, playing sports at whatever high school you want. The bill making its way through the Indiana State House and how it could impact the IHSAA. That is new at 5:30.
But first, right here at 5, finding your lost pet.
Our Verified team is looking into what you should do if your pet has a microchip from a company which just shut down and imposing even more tariffs.
We have the plan from the president to tax imports from other countries. We look into how it could impact the next things you buy. Ahead.